Dan, I know you saw a lot of stuff you can't talk about that you told me, quote, was worse than I was saying. Then I know you got calls claiming that you gave me info. You gave me nothing. It was all live on air. So I guess you got threatened some more. But, I mean, is this what you're talking about? Because this is just so The Godfather, but out in the open. You know, The Godfather meets James Bond villains meeting on a tarmac and telling the FBI to keep everybody quiet. I mean, this is just over the top. Dan, what's going on here?
And Alex, you know what they do? They rely on diminishing voices outside of the mainstream media apparatus, you know, like you and, you know, I do a podcast as well. They rely on diminishing those voices to make you believe that we're all the crazy ones, right? So let's just like walk through. Like we have the IRS, which is already publicly acknowledged that they were targeting conservatives. We have the Secretary of State, the Democratic presumptive nominee for president, basically trading national security secrets with foreign government across an unsecured server. By the way, she knew, I said this the last time I was on your show, that her team, I should say, knew the server was hacked and did nothing about it. You know, we have a country right now where the attorney general goes on a plane and meets with the husband of a potential, you know, a federal criminal. And then, you know, no big deal to the White House. I mean, the list, Alex, goes on and on and on. And what do? They go after other voices that are kind of calling truth to this and say, oh, look at them. They must all be tinfoil cap guys. They're all crazy, folks. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I mean, it's really disturbing where we are right now as a country. And this is the way they get it done. They do it, and they laugh at everybody else for calling attention to it, and the lemmings just play along.
Again, I'm not a criminologist like you or a guy with decades of experience, but I mean, for me, Dan, the FBI, according to a bunch of members of the press, ordering them, don't videotape this, don't talk about this, that really, to me, shows the criminal intent of Lynch and Clinton that officially, hey, don't talk about this. I mean, for me, I think that takes it over the edge, and we don't just need some special investigator. I mean, I really think we need grand juries to start looking at indicting Lynch.
Well, I don't know if the elements are there. And you know, listen, this was obviously I don't know. I don't have enough adjectives to describe how disturbing her behavior in office has been. A bad call. I mean, it's understating this by a factor of 1,000. You had the sitting Attorney General of the United States responsible for the oversight of obviously the entire Department of
Justice.
Who's
being criticized for covering for the Clintons.
Right. Meeting with the husband. It's irrelevant that he's a former president. But he's an American citizen, too. He's subject to the same laws you and I are. On a private plane, and as you accurately stated, they don't want any publicity. They don't want anyone to know. They want like a cloak and dagger type thing going. And nobody finds this even remotely disturbing on the left. You know, Alex, this is serious stuff. And the one thing I've always deeply respected about the conservatarians out there, the good constitutional conservatives and the libertarians, is they have a set of rules and principles. And I'll tell you what, they don't care what you put in front of your name, an R, a D, an L, a G for green. They couldn't give a hoot. All they care about is you violate those principles, they're coming after you too. And they're going to make sure you get out of office. My problem with the far left, not all Democrats, because there's a lot of Democrats fed up with this crap too, but with the far left is they don't care, Alex. Come after, go after the right.
They're a cult. In fact, the more corruption, I'll never forget MSNBC on a bunch of their shows. We did a compilation video of Carlos Watson and Maddow, all of them going, yes, of course we're going after Christian and veterans and groups. You're racist Tea Parties. You deserve it. I mean, it's totally illegal. It's totally criminal. They just dehumanize us and call us racist, so it's okay to have the IRS persecute everybody. I mean, they're proud of that. It's very, very authoritarian, very brown shirt.
I heard a clip yesterday. It was Christian Amanpour, to use the accent they use on the show, arguing with a good conservative, Daniel Hannan. And it was from a CNN clip. And it's amazing that after the Brexit, this is to show you how the left works and how they just prosper on division politics and dividing up the country and causing animosity. And she's insisting that there was some anti-Muslim or whatever it is graffiti in Poland. It was like an isolated incident. And she's trying to blame people who don't want to, don't want the EU, don't want these new foreign bureaucrats overseeing their local economies. She's trying to paint them as a bunch of racists, as if they caused it. You saw the same thing at these Trump rallies. Listen, regardless of your take on Trump, pro, con, or whatever, Trump has the right to say what he wants. It's a free country. We have the right to free speech. So you don't incite violence anywhere else. So what does the left do? They go attack people. They're stalking people. They're breaking people's noses. And what's the media take on the left? Oh, yeah, Trump did it. Excuse me? So let me get this straight. People on the right are like, we get it. Not all Muslims are responsible for the behavior of a few terrorists out there. But on the left's take is Trump says something. Every single conservative and libertarian is now responsible for some rhetoric from the Trump campaign.
I know. Even the L.A. Times and the mayor there in Sacramento, when it was men with Mexican flags beating up a white woman, bloodying her for no reason, and then the media was like, well, she deserves it. I mean, it's a new level. You imagine if there was a bunch of gringos beating up a Hispanic lady, there'd be riots nationwide. There should be. I mean, it's out of control. But look at these headlines. Suspected Istanbul attack mastermind was a refugee protected by the EU. It's the same thing every time. Look at this one. Swedish woman, the police are giving him bracelets that tell Muslim men, don't rape me. I mean, it's just getting crazier and crazier. What is the sickening love affair with the left with Orthodox radical Islam that seems to be taking over? I mean, what is their problem? I don't understand it.
All right. This is important. And your audience is a pretty smart crowd over there. There's a twofold reason for this. And if you don't understand the why, the why matters, folks. The whole thing, this is a useless conversation. You got to understand the why. The Obama administration will not say radical Islam for two reasons. Number one, the terrorism issue does not work for him politically, and Barack Obama is a political person first. Everything else is a distant second, if there at all. He cares purely about politics and tactics. The terrorism issue does not work for him anymore because the Democratic Party is not serious about it. Secondly, they practice division politics. It's all they have, Alex. They don't run campaign signs, vote Barack Obama, vote for a tax hike, vote for the worst recovery from a recession in modern American history, vote for Obamacare so your costs go up and you lose your doctor. That's not their campaign.
They can't say vote for 4 more years of the giant screw job.
No, they can't. So what do? They get you to vote against the other guy. The exit polls are conclusive on this. Romney beat him in every single category except the one category that mattered. Who cares more about people like you? The left is not stupid. The way they get you to
So how do we counter identity politics? How do we counter it? Because listen, I know the police aren't perfect. I criticize bad departments and bad people, but it's not, 1,000 people get killed a year by the cops. They admit 90+% of that's legitimate. Maybe it's 100+ innocent people killed a year out of 330 million. That's not our biggest issue. George Soros finances all over the place, overthrow of governments on an anti-police agenda. Ukraine, other countries, they've actually done it. Egypt was done. Now they're doing that here with hundreds of millions being spent. I know you have your ear to the ground on this, on a true war on police, to blame police for everything. So they stand down. There's crime waves. Then federal control comes in. But I really see it waking the police up, though, to this whole globalist agenda. But what's the inside baseball? Dan Bongino, former senior Secret Service agent, former New York cop. I mean, what's going on with the war on police? Because you talk about a whole divide and conquer strategy. What is that crazy strategy?
Yeah, this is another. The left, they have this interesting issue with authority. They love authority everywhere else, but when it actually matters, right? They'll regulate the stream in your backyard, literally through the waters of the United States rule. I'm not making that up.
Oh yeah, they can arrest you if you dig a cow pond on your own property.
Yes. I mean, look at the Gibson Guitar Factory for importing a form of wood that didn't meet with this ridiculous act nobody pays attention to. But yet you impose a very basic regulation on a Texas abortion clinic. Like, hey, I got this idea that if you're going to do an abortion and the woman may die, the abortion doctor should at least be able to have admitting privileges to a hospital. No. We don't want that. The war against police is an issue that appeals to a far left radical wing that motivates them to go out to the polls. Alex, it's no more complicated than that. I would love to give you a fancy explanation ideologically.
But I mean, take Chicago. The Democrats run it. It's got problems, but since they have blamed the police for everything and done all this, now the crime rate's doubled and tripled. Everything's collapsing. I mean, don't they understand that that's what they're causing?
Of course they understand. You know, what's the famous quote about liberalism? It cares about the world in theory. It's the real world that has a problem with. Alex, these people don't give a hoot about results. Their agenda has always been control.
Fantasyland.
Yes, when you get that through your head, all of this makes sense. It's not about economic growth. It's about economic control through heavy taxation and regulations that dictate the market for the left. The same thing about Obamacare. This isn't a failure. This is a resounding success for them.
Bongino.com. Dan, I want to talk some about your book. I want to talk about Trump, the few minutes we have left, and everything else that's happening. But getting back to the whole destabilization program, I mean, I get it. They want to destabilize because they get funding out of the crisis. They get control. They get deposed as saviors and change the subject from all their other failure. But at a certain point, the chickens have to come home to roost. You worked for many years inside the Obama administration, inside others as well. Know the dynamic between the Clintons and the Obamas and these different power structures in the Democratic Party. You know, your best understanding of it. Are they one big team? Is there two different sides? Do you think Hillary's invincible? What's the word? I mean, can she do anything? Will she ever get indicted?
I think she will get indicted. I think that's going to happen. I got some pretty good contacts on this too. But you know, they're not buddies in the traditional sense. The Obama team and the Clinton team are definitely allies when they need to be. But Bill Clinton has a big ego, and he doesn't like the fact that Barack Obama has taken the mantle of the far left and become their new hero. So they're definitely not friends in that sense, but they are allies when they need to be to advance an agenda. And that agenda right now is getting Hillary Clinton in the White House to continue these 7+ disastrous years of Obama. Hey, one quick thing on this. I can show this to you pretty clearly. You know, Bill Clinton, when he spoke for Barack Obama at the convention on his reelection effort, he didn't want to do that. There was a deal cut for that. You know, they had to cut some kind of a deal. And the deal, I think, I didn't hear it with my own ears, but it was reported in a couple different places. The deal was that, Barack Obama would support Hillary Clinton later on. So they're not friends in the traditional sense. They're allies when they need to be.
Well, I hope you're right, because justice needs it. I know a lot of cynical conservatives that go, oh, let Hillary get in, we'll make even more money and have bigger audiences. I could care less about that. I mean, she might completely destroy the country. I don't care if Trump gets in and things get a little bit better and our audience isn't as big. Great. I mean, this isn't about, I'm not them. I don't want a big crisis so I can be the savior. I want to not, have the whole society collapse. But I got to tell you, watching Lynch in this earlier Aspen Institute thing that just ended about 2 hours ago, I don't know if you've seen it, but she just says, oh, I'm not recusing myself because I'm going to take control of the investigation and we're going to decide what to do with the FBI's findings. She actually said that.
Yeah, I mean, totally unsurprising. Again, when you're a far leftist and control is your agenda in the end, you don't really care about what the public perception is. That she has power. She's not going to go anywhere. Totally unsurprising.
Sure, but if Nixon's attorney general said, I'm going to decide, I mean, that'd have been the end right there. That is arrogant.
Yeah, well, that's because, conservatives, there were people like, Larry Hogan in Congress at the time who were Republicans who stopped Nixon. But, where are the liberals stopping Obama? The answer is nowhere.
I tell you, it's so incredible. Well, in closing then, talk about usually you don't give us stuff that's with sources and you get blamed for doing that, but you're saying you have pretty good sources. Please elaborate, Mr. Bongino, former Secret Service agent, high level, the good news that you think things are going towards indictment.
Yeah, I do. I've got a couple of friends here that that have some decent information on this, and I think the indictment is going to happen. What I'm hearing is the career investigators who are working on this have kind of set an ultimatum, a de facto ultimatum that, hey, listen, here's the deal. This is an open and shut case. You have to run with this. This is it's clear as day. It's black and white. The elements of the crime necessary for prosecution are there. So I'm hearing they're going to recommend indictment. And Lynch said today, I think, to take the heat off her, which I think you saw this morning, that she's going to go with whatever the recommendation is. So she's not going to be able to run from that. I think Hillary.
Well, that's what the press said. Because I've played the clip, and I'm going to play it when we come back from break. But you have to go. If you can stay, I'll play it for you. But the point is, she sits there and she says, "I'm going to take the recommendation, but then I'm going to have senior Justice Department people review it and look at it and see if it's right and whether we're going to go forward." So that to me says she's not.
Yeah, there's always a caveat with the left. I know we got to stay on top of them, but I think there were. You know what the problem is, Alex? Is there's people like me out there who aren't going to take it anymore, who are just going to go public. And
well, exactly. So isn't that the Trump card or the ace in the hole? Is that senior FBI agents and others have said we're just going to leak the case?
Yeah, because the media doesn't own the information environment anymore, Alex. You got your show, you got social media, you got podcasting, Twitter, Facebook. It's not up to Walter Cronkite anymore to make the story go away. I mean, it's just not going to go anywhere.
Sure.
These FBI guys, they'll be on your show 2 weeks after that decision is made not to indict one of them. I mean, that's the way it works now, which is good, it's disaggregating.
Sure, and I never kissed Sean Hannity's butt. He's actually done some bad stuff to me years ago, but I know for a fact from inside Fox, he's been threatening things with the stuff he's doing and hasn't rolled over. And even the guys like that are willing to buck stuff. I mean, the establishment's got to know that America's not putting up with this anymore. Bongino.com, glad to hear you doing a radio show. Folks can find your book there. Dan, thank you so much for the time. Look forward to speaking to you again soon.